Hello, everyone. Welcome to December 2018 SecDSM. We do not have audio tonight, so I'm going to be yelling at you. However, we do have microphones for the live streaming, so it looks goofy, okay? So just so you know what I'm up to. Third Thursday of every month, SecDSM is here. I believe that's January 17th of next month. So that's 2019. We hope to see you back here at the Forge, and that's that slide. Tonight's agenda: 6 o'clock, SecDSM 101. 6:30 is Greg. 7:10 is Brandon Murphy. 7:45 is Champs and Chandler. 8:30 is the tap is closed. No more beer. Do not try to fill up beer after 8:30. 9 o'clock, the CTF winners are announced, and we all leave. And then 9:01 is the Americana. We are all meeting at the Americana immediately after this, after 9 o'clock. So we like to throw up this slide so everyone knows that SecDSM is an educational entity, but we share information sometimes that could potentially be used for nefarious purposes. As such, we do not condone taking anything you learn in SecDSM and using it for any sort of illegal activity. And on top of that, we engage the law enforcement community in Iowa, and sometimes they show up here. So the guy to your right, he may be a cop. Code of conduct. The mission of SecDSM cannot be achieved without a harassment-free community. Harassment is defined, applies to all SecDSM members, and if you've ever been to a meeting, you are a member. And sponsors. Reporting and board action is defined, including warning or expulsion. If you have any sort of problem here tonight, please reach out to a board member in Slack, in person, or via email. We welcome that feedback, and we want to help you. So we like to challenge ideas here, not people. So if I say something tonight, like Windows is great, like I want you to challenge the statement, not me for saying it. So that's kind of like the atmosphere we want to promote here. Is you attack the ideas people present, and maybe not so much the people themselves, because for example, I may not know better that Windows is great. I may have never used anything else. I may not know. And that was stolen directly from SecKC. And by the way, they're represented here tonight. Samson is giving his presentation in a little bit. He is from SecKC, and he even brought us a Google Voice kit to give away. So we thank SecKC for their generous sponsorship tonight. I don't believe Tom is here to speak about this. Imposter syndrome occurs whenever you kind of think that people are going to discover that you don't know what you're talking about. Everyone in this community probably feels that way occasionally. So we just want to acknowledge that, and acknowledge that we exist here to lift each other up and build each other up. So if you have questions for someone, don't hesitate to go ask them. We want to encourage that dialogue and the helping of the community so that we promote a stronger cybersecurity community in Iowa. House rules. I'm going to go over each one of these because they're all important. Clean up your dishes and put them in the kitchen. There's no loitering in the kitchen. Stay on linoleum. If you're not on this wood-looking linoleum, you are in trouble. Or no, it's the linoleum out there. Anyway, if you're on carpet, you're not doing so great, and get off of it. Stay out of the freezer. Obey all instructions from James, and I believe James's replacement is in here tonight. So if they tell you to do something, do it. Be excellent to each other, and due to the noise level, we'll close the doors tonight, especially since we don't have audio capabilities at the moment. Transparency report. Space and beer is provided by Pillar Technology, now part of Accenture Industry X.0. I believe it's just pronounced Industry X. They do a lot for us, a lot, people, and we are eternally grateful for their support in providing this wonderful space, and we couldn't do it without Pillar. We just want to thank them as much as we can for what they do for us, because they do a lot. Our sponsor tonight is Sirius Technology. I believe they're out over here. Please go by and talk to them. SecDSM couldn't be possible without our sponsors. So if you can, please head over and talk to the Sirius folks. I'm sure they'd be glad to talk to you. For financial transparency, I'm going to invite up Aaron Takip to speak to this. He's our treasurer, so I'm going to hand it over to Aaron.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. All right, so I'll speak up because we don't got microphones. So financial transparency between November and December, we got $72,67.84 in the bank as of today. Over the last month, we had $193.12 cash go out for pizza for last month. Over the last month, we've had $313.08 cash in, and that was all merch sales. So if you have any questions, please let me know. But the book's balance. And once again, thank the sponsors, because this could not be possible without them, and the same with Pillar. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. Mini CTF tonight is brought to us by Antoinette. She worked hard on this. If you want to participate, the address is minictf.secdsm.org on the wire. All of the instructions you need are at that URL. I'm not going to say anything else about it other than thanks to Antoinette for designing it for us. We really appreciate that. So we had a couple additional sponsors this year helped us provide audio-visual equipment. And we want to just call them out real quick and thank them for their contribution to our community. And that's Principal, Dwala, and Business Solver. We want to thank them for their contribution for our AV equipment. Slack. If you are not in our Slack channel, we welcome you and invite you to come join it. These are the kind of the instructions. It's really easy to sign up. It's at SecDSM.org. You provide your email, your first name, your last name, and you submit it, and we send you an invite. We have like 490 people in there. We're almost at 500. And rumor is the 500th person gets a prize. So I'm just saying maybe you should tell all your friends so they get a prize and share it with you. All right, with this, we're at the hobbies section. I'm going to bring up James to do his spiel. And everyone welcome up James Beal, please.
Thank you. Is the microphone actually working? Okay, good deal. For the live stream so they can actually hear me. All right, hobbies channel, just real quick. We talked about this last month, been a little busy, and so haven't really gotten this handled on the hobbies channel yet, but potentially doing some SecDSM movie night ideas. Was pretty much all we had on hobbies for the winter time. And then let's get started with the news, aka your excuse to look at the sweet gifts that I pick out every month. So 5 quick news stories. This just came out this week. As you're amazed, and everyone I'm sure is amazed by, 123456 is still the most used password for the 5th year in a row. Followed up, as you can see, by password. And even with all the leaks and everything else, people are still using this. So, channel your inner Kanye or a little Spaceballs action and set up a better password, please. This one is out. This one actually hit. This is the follow-up, essentially, to, let's see, these started out as DDoS scams a couple years ago. Recently, we've all had the sextortion scams that I covered in the news either last month or a couple months ago. And then it escalated to bomb threats, which came out a lot in the Midwest, and I know there were some examples here in the state and in states around Iowa. And it has now followed up with a hitman threat, so if you don't want a crab with a knife to come after you, send them $4,000 in Bitcoin. There is some remote firmware attack now. Some researchers actually came up with this. It actually renders the actual server unbootable. It requires physical access to the box to actually fix it by replacing the firmware itself. So that's a cool one to look into if you take a look at that. And then this one I thought was really neat. I think this came out last week or earlier this week. Microsoft has been working on some Windows 10 features, what look like, we got Linux and we got the Linux subsystem in. And then this is the newest one. It was actually underneath a different name, and I can't remember what it was right off the top of my head, but they've actually brought it out now. It's a full-on sandbox that runs off the OS. I think there needs to be some testing here to make sure that it's not impacting the underlying OS, but supposedly it'll now build up a virtual machine, and you can send software to it. It'll build that off your OS build with a set of protected DLLs, run it and actually let you run the malware and then destroy itself when you're done with it. So it's a pretty cool feature to add, and kudos to Microsoft for adding newer usable features in. Don't know if I'd run it on my domain controller, but that's just me. And last, this one was actually pretty cool. So we've had a lot of ransomware. We have good ransomware uses. We have the story before this. This one was actually done semi-physical. So these guys actually turned around and hit a whole bunch of banks all throughout Eastern Europe and actually did it with physical hardware. So they snuck in, there was examples that they found in the companies that got hit with this of netbooks, some Raspberry Pis, and actual Bash bunnies that they found plugged in that were essentially snuck in on the guise of, oh, the repair guy's here, oh, I'm here for an interview, that type of thing. The big takeaway from this one is I would, take a look if you're looking at security and you're looking at device security, not only, device security on your networks, but a big takeaway from this entire thing was take a look, and something maybe somebody hasn't thought of is security cameras, and make sure that if you have security cameras, you'll have at least proof of this happening afterwards as you catch it, possibly catching the person that did it in your conference rooms and things like that, that you let people in that aren't employees. And that is it for the news real quick. And then every month we like to do jobs. So if anyone's got a job opening or is looking and wants to come up and talk to everybody and let us know you're looking or you have a job opportunity open, we're open mic at this time. Anybody?
Anybody for job?
Anyone? Going once? Am I not talking loud enough? I can raise my voice. Yep, no light.
Here in a second, I'll see if I can get this whole thing working here in a little bit. So, but hey, I'm Thomas from Pillar Technology here. I just want to let some of you guys know that we are looking for a developer after the first of the year. So about February and March, we're going to have a handful of openings for some people that want to work on some really bold and impactful development projects for companies all across the country from the Forge here in Des Moines. Thank you.
Anybody else? Going once? Nope.
Brooke Keel with INTL FC Stone. We have an opening for an application security analyst, engineer, however you want to put it. Looking for somebody that's a mid-level developer interested in moving into application security to help out the rest of our development teams with their secure software. Let us know if you need any help. There's a job posting on Taleo, I believe. And then we've got Matt White actually works with us, so just reach out to him.
Awesome. Anyone else? Nope. All right. Yep. Nobody out there can hear you yell. All right, Mr. Stark, to finish things up. Thanks, man.
Thank you, sir. So the agenda for the third Thursday in January, which is January 17th, 2019, is what you have seen already, plus a talk at 6:30 by Jeremiah Sacinda, using symmetrices to secure large legacy software. So we hope to see you back here January 17th of 2019, and these are the talks so far. Also, if you want to talk in January 17th, please come see one of us. We'll help you develop the talk. We'll help you get it ready. We'll do whatever. We'll support you in any capacity you need to give a presentation in January. So if you are interested in doing so, please reach out to one of us, and we'll be happy to talk to you from there. And that's it. We're going to take like a 10-minute break, and then we're going to jump into our first talk. So thank you, everyone.